I know people who sell theirs and they sell for like $5 a pill. So every prescription has 30. So that's like $150 per bottle, which is for like pretty much doing nothing.
In what seems to have been a gradually disappearing problem, the misuse of ADHD medication continues to be common around exam time.
I took a few recently to help me just stay alert and awake for my exams. And I don't plan on continuing to take it now that my exams are over until maybe finals.
So I use it more for the purpose of like, like when I'm studying to keep myself alert and focused and awake, and it really helps with that.
I've used it for studying 3 times after that, just like cramming for massive tests, etc. And it helps.
Some students think that Adderall specifically can be harder to find than other drugs.
Adderall is more expensive and is more difficult to find. So I mean, if I could find Adderall, I probably would use it. And it's Ritalin they're both used for like ADHD, but like I said, Adderall is like much more difficult to find. It's more expensive. So this is like the best I can find.
I don't really feel that it's like very prevalent on campus. Like it's actually like harder to come by than like one would expect. It's a lot easier to get like other more illegal drugs than you would think because they're cracking down on prescription drugs.
And while there are some who think the use of Adderall and other ADHD medications has never been very common, others are saying that their misuse is just often overlooked.
It doesn't look like anything different than just handing money and having a handshake afterwards. Like, it doesn't look like anything that's too suspicious, and it's not too hard to carry around. It doesn't have some kind of odor like other drugs do.
It's really easy to overlook things like that, just because it's not necessarily the most popular thing. People want you to focus on, stopping drinking in the halls and I guess weed and stuff like that. That's the more prominent things that we are supposed to focus on, or that we're like told to like pay attention to. So things like Adderall generally don't get as much attention.
Laura Place, a social worker on campus who's dealt with students who have misused ADHD medication, says that in an environment with such high expectations, many students turn to Adderall and other ADHD medications in order to deal with school.
It's not a normal thing in this environment to spend time, just sort of pacing out your studying. It is for some groups of students, and some people work that way, but I think it's increasingly common for people to just feel like cornered, that I'm supposed to do all of this stuff in this really limited amount of time, and if I take this medication, then I can pull off half of it tonight.
A lot of people, maybe not the majority, but a lot of people have at least given it a shot once. Sometimes they'll say that they're never going to do it, but then the opportunity presents itself and they have a very challenging thing coming up, or they need to pull a couple all-nighters. I've had a few friends who have been very much against it, but then they were pressured into a tough situation where they had multiple tests on one day and they really needed to study, and they did it, and it worked out for them, I guess, because they continued to do it.
I guess I just want to use it because I've heard a lot of good things about it, and how people, when they use it, they're able to study for a long period of time without getting tired. And to be honest, it's really hard, especially in college, when you don't really have that much time and there's a lot of work.
Some students choose to continue taking ADHD medication even though they say they are aware of the side effects.
I don't think I am dependent on it or anything. I don't know. If you use it once in a while, it's definitely something though that if you do use it a lot, you can become dependent on it, and then that's when it becomes a problem. So I guess it's risky in that sense. Am I going to put myself at risk to be a problem? But I don't know, I did it anyway, and it helps.
I've heard all kinds of crazy stories of people you stay up 2 days straight and you absorb everything you see or whatever.
I could have done the same without them, but if there's not necessarily a shortcut, but if there's something that helps and it's not going to kill you, you might as well put it to its best use.
Place says it will take more than a focus on finding dealers and users to solve this kind of problem.
I think that if we really wanted to make some changes in the diversion of these medications, it's the culture of the university that would have to change, and not just some kind of like try and crack down on what's going on. You can take evidence that that sort of thing doesn't work from this war on drugs that we've had going on. That doesn't work. Increasingly, it's apparent that what needs to be done is to pay attention to the environmental factors that contribute to that being desirable.
For the Diamondback, I'm Michelle Chavez.